wild find in the garden. Good morning, everyone. I'm Zach.
I want it.
So we are going out to let Tilly, our miniature horse, out of her pen. I know some of y'all see her feed with, feed without. If we ever feed with, it just all depends on like her 8-hour, 12-hour period that we have her in and have her out. Most of the time we shoot for nighttime in, after breakfast out. Sometimes that always doesn't work out, so that's why you see her in there sometimes, but we still manage to feed. But now we're gonna go let her out. Good morning, everyone. Was it a good breakfast? Everybody have a good breakfast? Yeah? T-Bird, way down, bro. So we did the annual pumpkin patch trip yesterday, and it was a new one because we're in a different area, so we had to find a new place that we go to. And y'all know those pumpkin patches, they all have petting zoos. Man, we just come home and we look at our animals. So y'all lucky. Y'all lucky to have the accommodations that we give you, because those petting zoos, I really hope they let them out after the show's over, but man, they put them in some tight areas. One goat gave birth there with a whole audience on and everything. It's great, right? Like, I'm sure people really enjoyed seeing that happen, but there was nobody around. Like, what if something went south? I don't know. I don't want to be that guy because we get plenty of that ourselves. But I don't know. It was rough, kind of rough to see. We did see an ostrich though, and that was really cool. Dolly freaking loves what? Give me all the lemons, what? Oh, hi, Butters. Good morning. You're itching post. Oh, is someone getting jealous? All right, go let your horse out. Well, I got her. Say good morning, Tilly.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh yeah, here she goes. There she goes. Gotta stretch them legs. Buster, wouldn't hurt you to do that a little bit. Look how chunky you are. But you handsome. You handsome. You have an audience. There you go. And I just like it. Very good. Very good. Butters is using you as a scratching post. Hi, Miss Lucy. Actually, the goat that gave birth looked a lot like Lucy. Same coloring. You got a long ways to go before you can have babies. Little runt. You gotta get bigger. You gotta get bigger. And speaking of goat kidding, we are in need of a buck, and so we're kind of striking out around here. We either want a Nubian or a Saanen buck, no horns. I've had my fair share of bucks with horns, and we need one so we can get our bigger ladies bred again this fall. So if any of y'all are in the vicinity and have one for sale, or we can even do the rent-a-buck if you want to do that, I'm definitely open. Rent-a-buck is when we get your goat for either just payment of that goat, or you get a pick of the litter of one of the goat kids, kind of like dog breeding. So if any of y'all have those or are interested, and if any of y'all are going to HOA and we're not close but you're going there, maybe we can work out a deal or something to pick it up at HOA since we'll be there. But let us know. Hit us up down in the comments, or shoot us a message at stivershomestead@gmail.com. Hopefully you can hear that. All that's linked down below. But we are in need because it's almost time to get these girls bred. That's right.
You were doing that.
Butters, does your head itch?
What is happening?
You got an itchy head. She said, you ain't rubbing me, I'll just rub myself. What's wrong with you back here?
Nothing.
Funny day. So we were back in after doing the chores, and we got a fun shipment in that we were really excited about, because it is going to be a gardening day today. But first off, check the hat. Yeah, I know I love my Haas hats, my Haas Tools hats. They're like my favorite hat ever. I think we even do have a hat in our store, but I like this. Yeah. And then so they sent me a camel one and a couple of others. But let me show you what we got here and what we're going to be planting today. So we'll get to this guy. First off, this is what's going into the garden today. Got my hats, a couple clean, fresh hats. We got 2 different types of kales, Red Russian and Blue Ridge. Bunch of different lettuces that go on top of what we already have. Butter Crunch, arugula, romaine, Skyfos butterhead, and then some salad bowl red. We're also going to do some Savannah mustard and some fresh baby Swiss chard. The fresh baby Swiss chard is really cool because it's kind of like a cut and come like all the rest of them here. But you don't have to wait for them to get real big. That's why they're baby Swisses, and you can use them in your salads. So, we are real late on fall planting, like super duper late when it comes to that. However, we're very big on prolonging our growing season as long as possible. So we're gonna get these in the beds. You're not gonna see a cover for them yet, but we will be building a overtop protection of plastic, like miniature greenhouses for our raised beds that these are planted in, so we can try to get them to go through the winter. Now, what that's gonna do is we really just need them germinated now, and you have to understand they're gonna grow slower throughout the winter. But that plastic does allow that sun to really draw that heat in to help give you growth. And we've done this several winters. The primary most successful one was 2 years ago, the year we were not moving. And we were able to have salad all winter, even with some crazy low temperatures that came across. So that's the goal here today, and while we're planning so late in the
If you're wondering what he's talking about, there's videos. I think they're called Hoop House videos.
Yeah, I did 2 of them. One was a complete, it was a failure. But it worked still. It worked, and then the second was more the better way to do it. What you got?
I think it's a magnet.
Nice, it does look like a magnet. So Haas always sends stickers. I don't know. I think that's a sticker.
Is it?
I think so. They always send different stickers, and like you can collect them all kind of thing. It's pretty cool. So this is one we've never had before, a new one. Get dirty.
Yep.
Now this last thing that we got from Haas, you all, if you're wanting to do this, you need to buy them now because they go out of stock real fast. But there's other options than Haas. It's just Haas is the only ones that have elephant garlic. So we love elephant garlic. It's huge. It's actually, I think, considered in the leek family. Somebody's going to tell you that somewhere, someday. But it is garlic. It tastes like garlic, and you do everything like you'd be growing garlic. So we are going to be planting those, and we probably plant them when we get back from HOA, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, about the second week of October here in 6B is when you grow them, when you start getting your garlic into the ground. So you will have a whole video on how to do that. But Haas runs out of stock of this elephant garlic so fast because it's one of the most popular things that they have. So if you want them, the link's down below. Go get it now. They sell it in 1, 5, and 10 pounds. So if you're curious, this is what 10 pounds look like. There's a lot of garlic. We are outside at the garden. If anybody was wondering, Mr. Loofah is still doing great. He's actually knocking my bean thing over. It's getting so heavy. But we have loofahs growing all over the place. It's all over here, all over our front porch, going into with the fall decor that we got going on. But she's still doing strong. So let me explain real quick before we get to planting about loofahs. I know I keep telling you how to go to that video, but I'll just go ahead and explain it here. Loofahs can go all the way till frost, unless your plants are dying. Sometimes they get a hold of squash bugs and they're dying. Now, if they are green in any form or fashion, I don't care if they're little guys like this, you want to cut them off before your frost comes in, and then you just want to sit them in a dry, cool area like a basement. That's where we're going to put ours on our racks, and they will dry. I promise you. It's always great to have them dry on the vine, but ours never do because we're in 6B and our frost comes before they go because they're such a long period of time. But don't fear, even if they look like they're babies, take them off, cut them, don't toss them, put them down in your basement, let them dry, and they will dry up and become loofahs. So just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that because everybody's starting to get in time of that area. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your loofahs from the frost if y'all's is coming soon. So here's some of the lettuce that we already have going. We got some butter crunch and some romaine here. We had 2 not make it, so I'm going to replant here. But it's always good, I think it's called succession planting your lettuces so they're not all ready to come at the exact same time. So we'll have this bunch, and then we'll start some more over here seeded out. One thing to note, that lettuces can be very, very close together unless you're wanting them to go to head. We do not. We do a lot of cut and come for just clippings for salad. So you can grow them really close. You can actually grow them closer in here. I probably could have got 4 or maybe even 5 in each row. So just keep that in mind when you're growing them. It's always fun to plant different colors and different stuff there. But let's get this bad boy planted. So our goal is to plant this one and probably that one as well with different lettuces. And we'll have 2 different hoop houses on there. I did notice, look at all of these baby tomatoes. Can you see them? They have reseeded everywhere after Jen and I tore this out. Baby tomatoes all over the place. And that, if I had to guess, a daggone mouse hole. Goodness. I've never had a rodent issue like I've had at this property. It has been nuts trying to keep control of all the rodents that are roaming around this place. What y'all's tried and true processes of getting rid of like rats, mice, different stuff that digs holes in your beds? Throw them down in the comments for me. Okay, so we found something in the garden, in the tomato bed, so that might give us clarification. So here it is. Here's the thing.
It's moving. Ew,
it is moving.
It's alive.
Okay, so you did your identifier app thing.
I did. It says it's a tobacco hornworm.
A tobacco hornworm. So our best guess, if that's what that's identified as, that's it, and it's a cocoon.
Yeah.
Because it is moving in there.
Yeah, it's
and
alive.
it was in the dirt. It was buried in the dirt. I was loosening up the soil.
Tail. Ooh,
so,
don't touch it.
You all tell us, first off, is that a tobacco hornworm and it's cocoon? And if so, what do they turn into? Right? Like, what
well, they turn into moths, right?
Is it moths that they turn into? I mean, I just know that they're dead. Like, I thought they need to all die.
They're moths, just like... Ew! It's like an alien.
Touch it again.
Doesn't like to be touched.
Watch it move.
Ugh.
That is...
Kind of want to put it in the jar and see what happens.
Yeah, well, it probably needs to be buried. I mean, that's where it was. It sounds like it's a buried cocoon.
But we don't want it in the garden.
Gosh, no, we don't want it in the garden.
Oh my gosh. Ew, it's creepy.
So if this tells you one thing, this is why you rotationally plant your things, because that was a tomato bed. So if that's tomato hornworm that is cocooning down in the dirt, what he's saying is, I'm getting ready because I know this is where dinner is next year.
Yeah.
So you want to be moving your stuff around, keep the bugs guessing, so when they come out, at least it's not immediately what they want. But yeah, there's your prime reason.
Everyone's obsessed with the fact that we found a hornworm just like the ones in Dolly's movie, Coat of Many Colors.
Oh, yeah. Back when they were tobacco worms, that's tomato hornworms or tobacco worms. And,
well, identified it said tobacco hornworm.
Yeah, so I think tomato is just because that's what we all grow now, but back in our day in Kentucky, and then of course in Dolly's Coat of Many Color movies, them hornworms, they'd eat your tobacco crop down like they would a tomato plant. So you had to get out there and get them.
There you go.
That's wild. It's crazy to watch it move.
Ugh.
Just rolling around. He's big mad in there.
I found a home. Move.
Not gonna do it. Well, anyways, wild find in the garden. Confirm for us that is a hornworm and that it's in a cocoon, because that's our assumption. So I wasn't filming, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. So anytime you've had soil set, you want to, like, I'm using my hori knife, but anything, you know, you can use your hands. But you want to loosen back up the soil because, you know, just throughout the season it's compacted down, and you just want to rotate it and get it all nice and loose before planting something else in it. So that's what the process we were doing when we found that bad boy. Yeah, well, I can't promise anything, right? We might find another one. Where there's one, there's many normally.
There's one, there's many?
Usually.
No.
Even though,
There.
right? Hang on, I'll show you how to do it. So look, I'm gonna make little tunnels. That'll make it real easy to put seeds in. Pick them up.
So that's the pupa.
Which means
Hi, baby.
put a few in my hand, and then see the little holes that I've made?
Yeah.
You're just gonna drop one, then you're gonna give a little room, drop another one. So All right, this is more for me. This is planted in this bed here. Thank you, Ray Ray, for your help.
You're welcome.
So I did put my little solar sound vibrators to try to help keep any rodents out of there. But if you're planting with kids, it's very important to let them get their hands dirty and do it. And you got to remember, you can thin them later if you need to. But it's very important to do the easiest way I've found to help kids learn to do that and make sure to try to at least get it in a general area is make those little tunnels. So take whatever tool you're using or your finger and just draw a real little bitty tunnel right down, so that helps their eyes understand where at least to go. You can poke holes, but for the most part, they're gonna miss the hole. So that's an easy way to at least get them in a tunnel and for you to understand where they are. So as they start popping up, they're in a row at least and not just kind of scattered everywhere. But you know, hey, whatever works. It's just what seems to work for Ray Ray and I. So stay tuned very soon for hoop houses over this L right here. Something random I haven't showed you all in a long time. Check out these cherry bushes we got. Yes, I know, I need a weed. Like, I weeded here, haven't got to here yet. But these cherry bushes really grew this year. Very, very big. That's exciting. I've never seen, grown, heard of a cherry bush, but they are doing great and we're awesome, and I'm excited to see what really comes of them. They're really cool. The blueberries didn't grow near as much this year, and I have no idea why, but they're still doing healthy. They just didn't grow a whole lot, so we'll see how they do next year. Upon further investigation,
so the moths or the worms, whichever, I think it's the worms, they actually go into those pupas and then they bury in the ground and they overwinter until they're ready to hatch again and destroy your plants. So kind of cool though, because we found a pupa. I've never seen a tobacco hornworm pupa or tomato hornworm pupa, whatever you want to call them. They eat peppers and stuff too. But what we're going to do is we have that butterfly cage that we hatch the butterflies out of. So I think we're going to take the pupa and put it in that and see if we can hatch it, and it'll be kind of a cool little homeschool lesson. And then we'll feed it to the chickens.
You're right. Yeah, because they are not good. You want to kill them all.
No, we're not trying to prolong its life or by any means or save it.
We're just using it as a science experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, science experiment. So, there you go. You learned something today. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But yeah, as a pupa of tobacco hornworm, tomato hornworm, whatever. But yeah, so it felt good to get back in the garden today. The garden season this year was just different. It was different. It was our first year here. Her garden was crazy successful over here in the kitchen garden. We've explained that next year we're going to be doing our raised bed gardening a lot bigger, cutting down the in-ground gardening so we can have more pasture for our cattle. But you know, it was just different. I don't feel like it was as successful as years past, but we learned a lot.
We did put up a lot of food.
We did put up a lot of food. But we learned a lot. We learned a lot about our new land. We learned a lot about our new property. And so that was a great success. You never fail. You fail with learnings kind of thing. So overall, it was awesome, but I'm happy to be back in it, getting my hands dirty, and especially having some salad all year round. Yeah. So next up will be the greenhouse planting, and then also planting the garlic. So stay tuned for both of those. We're also going to get some carrots in the greenhouse too, because you can do a lot of overwintering with root veggies. Plant in the fall for a spring harvest. So stay tuned, all that's coming. If you haven't got your garlic from Hoss Tools, make sure to do that immediately if you're wanting theirs, because they sell out real fast. And again, that'll link down below.
We're gonna plant the green stalks too. We just haven't quite figured out where to put them. I guess we could put them in the greenhouse.
That's what we did last year.
Yeah, and keep them that way. So we might do that. Plant some leafy stuff in there too. Be good.
Yeah, it'll be great.
One of them has the strawberries in it, so we want to leave that one.
Yeah, we need to get more strawberry slips to finish that one off. But all that coming. Garden stuff is pumping back in, which it seems crazy because you would think we'd be ending. But we can do this, and we can do it with you all. Make sure that you're planting all winter, because you can have that nice, fresh stuff out of your garden, even when there's snow on the ground.
That's right.
All right, y'all, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to down below.
We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.